And we begin with that breaking news out of Florida as the FBI says it's investigating what appears to be another assassination attempt on former President Trump. That incident happening at his golf club in West Palm Beach, Florida. Now, at this hour, authorities are saying the former president is safe and was not hurt. The Secret Service reported opening fire at a man who they say was pointing an AK-47 style rifle into the club as Trump was on the golf course.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. You missed him again. The blue-haired loser who literally parroted left-wing rhetoric about democracy being on the ballot. The left-wing lunatic who literally had a Biden-Harris bumper sticker on his vehicle. The details about this weirdo have been coming out fast and furiously. And just like the last attempt, by the way, I have another update. The whistleblower report is out on that for July 18th. I'm not forgetting that. I will be covering that. There's a unique connection between these two, actually, between this guy and the last guy, and you're never going to guess what it is. Look, this country is I think far worse off than many people are willing to believe. It's worse than I was willing to believe. This is the second attempt on Donald Trump. And I do not believe it will be the last. Just like I said the first time, I believe that you have pre-programmed this nation over 12 years saying that this guy is worse than anybody who's ever lived. And you're going to have a certain percentage of unhinged people who hear that message and think that they're going to be the hero that saves this country, completely forgetting that Donald Trump was president from 2016 to 2020 and literally nothing of what the mainstream media said. You know, so much for cooling down the rhetoric. Donald Trump, at this point, I think, is going to need to rely more on a ground game than ever. And let's get into everything we know about this loser and everything we have found out overnight. By the way, over 1,000 signups last night on tailgates for Trump to host parties, to register people to vote for vote, and to have, a Trump-themed parties. Make sure you go to tailgatesfortrump.com. You put your real email address in here, and then you click join the movement. Then you go check your email address and confirm it. Also rolled out a brand new sticker design. I know you're thinking, what do stickers do? Trust me, we've already deployed 10,000 stickers in the first week. I want to do another 50,000 this week. Not making any money on these stickers. I want these things everywhere. There's a QR code, the URL to the website. We've got a comrade, Kamala, with all the bad facts about her. We've got tailgates for Trump with a little cute kitten on it now. The idea is they see the sticker, they scan the sticker, they go to the website where we have all sorts of resources and help, to convince people, talking points, party ideas, resources on how to register to vote, how to check to vote, how to, follow your vote, make sure it happened. This website is turning into one of the single greatest resources for Trump voters. Pick up some stickers today. Hand them out. You don't have to stick them up. You can hand them out to waiters and waitresses when you tip them. Anytime you tip somebody, hand them a sticker. Give them a sticker to your friend. Tell them to come to use them like a business card. Let's deploy 50,000 of these things this week. So pick up your stickers and then hit the ground running this week. Shout out to Sticker Mule for giving me a priority or a quick printing turnaround. Trump loser attempt Ryan Wesley Routh wrote a book urging Iran to take out President Trump. In fact, the book is still available on Amazon for $2.99. Ryan Wesley Routh, the man named as a suspect, he's not a suspect in my opinion, but anyway, in quote, Ukraine's unwinnable war, he said he had made a terrible mistake in once voting for Trump, whom he described as a buffoon. I must take part of the blame for this R-worded child we elected for our next president that ended up being brainless. But I'm mad enough to say that I misjudged and made a terrible mistake. And Iran, I apologize after berating the former president for abandoning the nuclear deal with Tehran. You are free to end his life as well as me for that error in judgment and dismantling the deal. So he wrote this book, called for it. Of course, say the meme, play the meme. He was on the FBI's radar. Guess what? The guy had been arrested like a bazillion times. This is what many people believe. Stick with me. There's a lot of information in this video. You may have to go back and replay sections of it, but don't forget to sign up on Tailgates for Trump. I know I'm pushing it. I'm not making any money off of it. I want to make sure this guy wins. And I think we, as a group, I've got 20, 30,000 dedicated people who can hit the ground and spread the word. I really think we can change this election. 10,000 people throw parties with 10 people at them. That's 100,000 people. I mean, some states are won or lost by a few thousand votes. Think about it. By the way, you can also mail them to people in battleground states if that's what you want to do. Am I reading this right? The Trump loser was caught in 2002 with a, quote, weapon of mass destruction and got probation. In my opinion, he is a federal asset and was a federal asset. Who on the planet is in possession of a WMD? The thing that old W went to war over and never found? Remember that? And got probation. By the way, this guy had something like 20 or 30 run-ins with law enforcement. One of his tweets says he's working with the Pentagon. Here's one of his tweets. We are close to getting the Pentagon. We are close. The Pentagon has agreed to help. Wait a little longer. Interesting. Now, he certainly could have just been saying these things. There have been people who have been interviewed and said the guy was a Looney Tune. Of course he was. I'm sure, all these things are true. The would-be Trump loser traveled to Kiev, actively recruited Americans to volunteer in Ukraine, had at least proxy contact with Ukraine's MFA. How is it even the slightest bit possible that he wasn't at least on the radar of our State Department and intel community? I'm going with it isn't possible at all. Who was funding Ryan Routh in Ukraine? He was radicalized there and sent back to the U.S. Did he receive training while he was there? If he got training, did Kamala Biden fund it? Did Ryan ever meet with or correspond with Ukrainian officials? All questions must be answered. These are his own words, by the way, which Elon Musk's free speech platform deleted. Now, it could be that the system reacted to a bunch of mass reports. That's possible. While I consider that possible, I also consider it unlikely. Here's Jack Posobiec. There is no question that this guy had an overlap with national security agencies given his activities in Ukraine.
This is a situation where it's very clear. Look, I was in Ukraine, in Lviv, and then went down to Odessa and Mykolaiv back in May of 2022. We're also seeing that timeline kind of lines up with when this guy was in Ukraine, this guy Ryan Routh, or at least he claimed to be. We're receiving lots of information about how he potentially received training from the International Legion there. Again, there's this hodgepodge patchwork of foreign fighters and volunteers, as well as Ukrainian Ministry of Defense support. So
he goes on to talk about, obviously, Jack Posobiec, knows a little bit about this kind of thing. You have Laura Loomer. New York Times profiled the shooter, Ryan Routh, who tried to take President Trump's life. Today, not only did that, Newsweek also interviewed him, the attempted assassin, 2 years ago about his choice to fight in Ukraine in 2022. But in 2023, the New York Times also profiled his efforts to recruit foreign fighters for Ukraine. My guess is that Trump wants to end the forever war. He doesn't want to do that. I don't know if he's of Ukrainian descent or why he's so weirdly connected with the Ukraine battle. You see here, the New York Times wrote a profile on Ryan Routh back in 2023. He helped recruit fighters to Ukraine. Today, he tried to end Trump's life. I mean, this guy very obviously was on the radar of just about everybody imaginable. And yet, here we are. Here he is literally parodying Kamala Harris language. Democracy is on the ballot.
Extremist, so-called leaders who are attempting to undermine our democracy and assault our most fundamental freedoms. Freedom, liberty, and democracy are on the ballot this fall.
literally parroting, Democratic talking points. Candace Owens, right? Everything about this guy's background reeks of criminal turned Fed asset in prison, convicted for weapons of mass destruction, then years later trying to recruit Americans to the war in Ukraine. Yeah, it absolutely reeks that he's a federal asset to me. I don't have any evidence or proof of that, obviously. Here you have him crying, wanting Americans to go lose their life over in Ukraine. This interview resurfaced before being deleted. He has zero idea what the war is actually about. His mind is very childlike. It's a battle of good versus equal, just like the corporate news told him. That's how propaganda works. That's why I warned the TYT about pushing Russiagate, that it would lead to war and brainwash guys like this. This from Jimmy Dore, calling him out. Kyle Becker writing, quote, I have had partner meetings in Ukraine's Ministry of Defense every week, and I still have not been able to get them to agree to issue one single visa. Ryan Routh, the suspected attacker at Trump's international golf course, was interviewed by multiple news agencies because he was a recruiter for the International Volunteer Center in Ukraine. Again, here is, he had his flak jacket set up here. It looks like he had ceramic body plates set up, which looks like they didn't stand up to the return fire before fleeing. Only reason, by the way, he didn't get off, he was unable to fire was because a eagle-eyed Secret Service agent saw the muzzle poke through the fence. I mean, one in a billion. He made 19 separate donations to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden over the last 4 or 5 years. You see here, what else do we have for you? Former FBI director says Ryan Routh may have had inside information on Trump's private schedule. This is a terrifying thought, given that Trump's golf outing was, quote, a last-minute decision. Florida must investigate, not the FBI, which we do know now that Florida is, in fact, investigating. Ron DeSantis came out and said that Florida's doing their own investigations. The guy who did the FBI presser yesterday is a known TDS sufferer who was forced to delete anti-Trump posts from his Facebook.
Where's the suspect now? I know he's behind bars, but where?
Well, what we did is we turned him over to the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. So I don't know where he is right now.
Okay. Did he say any? How did he know that?
Border county to Palm Beach. You can't get out of their county without coming through ours. But we don't have the intel from.
So he didn't know. Nobody knew except this certified lunatic. Here's his truck with a Biden-Harris sticker on it. There's no denying here. Obviously, he also wrote a book talking about, how they should go after Trump. But here is the connection I talked about earlier. Absolutely no way. The latest would-be Trump assassin, Ryan Routh, also appeared in a BlackRock commercial, just like Thomas Crooks. This means both featured in global wealth management firms' commercial. These are not coincidences. Here he is in the Ukraine commercial.
Is to appeal to world leaders.
Right there. You see him there? Right there. Here he is featured in, another, and then obviously we remember the classroom. I mean, what a wild thing, right? What an absolutely wild thing. So both connected through, also, featured in propaganda commercials. This is not a coincidence. I will stay on this story. There's actually new news on the July 18th incident that I'm going to be reporting on later today. Head on over to tailgatesfortrump.com. You can use the number 4 or you can spell it the word FOR. Get your email address in there. Join the movement. Check your email address. Confirm it so we can send you all the important dates. I'm not going to try to sell you a bunch of crap. I'm not going to sell your information. And then pick up stickers. These stickers, again, I'm just trying to cover the cost. Deploy these things everywhere you can. Don't get in trouble, but put them where any possible Trump voter might be. And then we can have one of the biggest parties in history on November 5th leading up to it. But this first phase is about getting people registered to vote. We still have 2 months. So let's get a bunch of Trump voters registered. Then we'll have the parties where we register people. Then we'll have voting parties. and we'll make this fun. It will work if we all work together. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.